Hey guys, welcome back to Embers and Ash. My name's Ashley, if you didn't know. Long time no chat. I feel like it's been almost a month since I've posted a video. It is what it is. But I'm gonna do a Q&A for you guys today. I asked you on Instagram any questions you had about postpartum, how life with a newborn has been going. Because I've been so absent here, I figured you had questions. I also did post a podcast episode about the first month, so listen to that if you want more information, but I will get into these questions once I pull them up. Okay, how has the postpartum journey been this time compared to with Rook? A lot easier. You guys know, if you listen to my birth story, that I didn't tear this time, which was phenomenal for healing. It made the transition to 2 kids easier, specifically because adding a toddler into your newborn journey makes things a lot more complicated. It was nice that I felt better physically to be able to handle the chaos. Like I've previously said, I've been dealing with all the nighttime work, and that gives Josh more energy to be able to handle Rook better. So postpartum has been way better this time. Very, very grateful for that. Which transition was more difficult, 0 to 1 or 1 to 2? I did talk about this in the podcast, but I feel like I should say it here as well in case you haven't listened to that. But 0 to 1 was so much easier for me, and I kind of expected it would be that way even before I actually had Finn, because of my mental state. Going into life with my first baby, I was so excited to become a mom, so excited to have a baby to carry around with me, how flexible life is with a baby, just like one baby. And I even knew when I was in that stage of life that it wasn't going to be the same next time, and like cherish these moments I have right now, right? And you guys also know I had been struggling mentally, kind of wrapping my head around life with 2 kids. And so those fears bled into my postpartum journey and made it more difficult than it maybe necessarily was. So for me, 0 to 1 was a lot easier. But I think it's just based on your mental state and how you approach the situation. And then obviously if you have like a really difficult baby, that plays into it. Are you enjoying the close age gap? Yeah, so they are 2 years apart within 2 weeks. And I am enjoying it, especially because Rook's independence has been so helpful. Like, he can get himself in and out of the high chair. I just have to like buckle him up, things like that, put his own shoes on depending on the shoes. But I also feel like it would have been nice after the fact if I had been crazy enough to have a second baby when my first was 1. Just because right now at Rook's age, he would do so well with a friend every day that he could play with, aka a sibling that was capable of playing. Like, obviously Finn can't play right now, and Rook just would, and I guess any 2-year-old would really enjoy a playmate. So I mean, that first year with a 1-year-old and a newborn would be horrible, I assume, but then like after the fact it would have probably paid off. I'm not regretting my choices by any means. I've just been like thinking this stuff over, you know. But once Finn can actually play, it'll be great. I think it's a great age gap. It's a very common age gap too. Yeah, I'm glad that we didn't wait any longer. Hardest part about having 2? Definitely when both kids need you at the same time. I really try to lay out my day so that that doesn't happen as much as possible, but sometimes obviously you can't prevent it. The worst is when I'm trying to breastfeed and Rook needs me, because you know, I can get up and walk around while I'm breastfeeding, but it usually doesn't go well. Finn doesn't stay latched, and so it just is chaotic. Or sometimes I need to like, in the middle of feeding, just put Finn down and tend to poop or something, and then go back and continue feeding. And it's stressful, it's chaotic. But you try and plan feeds out so that it's during the down times. But obviously when your kid's hungry, they're hungry. So definitely them needing you at the same time is the worst part. Do you have any family help? I do, just casually. Like, there's pretty much always someone I can call up to watch Rook for an hour or two if I have an appointment or something. Nothing like regular, I shouldn't say regular, no like weekly babysitting or anything. Just like when I need help, I have people I can call, which I'm really grateful for. My sister's taking Rook tonight for a couple hours so I can go get my eyelashes done, which is a good self-care thing, which I really appreciate. But most days it's me and the boys. How are the kids sleeping? So Rook has been great, same as always, nothing has really changed. Finn's sleep is good, I don't want to complain. Not as good as Rook was as a newborn, but I mean, I shouldn't be comparing. Finn will do most of the time a 5-hour stretch. The most he's done, I think, is a 7-hour stretch. And I do a dream feed at 10 p.m. So lately he's been waking up at 3 a.m. Sometimes it's 4, which is a lot nicer. And then once he's done 5 a.m. So me sleeping 10:30 till 5 a.m. it's fantastic. But it is a little all over the place. So most of the days I'm functioning pretty well on my sleep. Sometimes I nap. I don't want to complain, like I'm really grateful for those long stretches, but at this point with Rook, I'm pretty sure he was sleeping 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. like every night, but every kid's different. And then during the day, Finn's sleep is pretty good. Yeah, he's actually really easy during the day, which I'm really grateful for. Curious about your approach to baby sleep. What's my approach to baby sleep? I try to limit the amount of contact sleeps or contact naps that we do. Most of the time I don't even have to limit it because I have a toddler, so most of the time I can't. I'll try and do it like every other day during Rook's nap because it's good for you and the baby. I would like to do it more than I am right now, but my philosophy on it, I guess, is have your child fall asleep independently at least 50% of the time so that they at least know how to do it. But it's also really important that you get that like one-on-one time with your baby while they're sleeping. Other than that, it's just been really focusing on keeping naps really bright and light to indicate it's daytime, and loud. Rook makes sure that it's loud. And then nighttime, we make sure it's dark and quiet, and he gets the memo that it's time to sleep for a long period of time. And yeah, things that have surprised you / didn't prepare for with 2 kids. I have a good surprise. One of my fears was that I wouldn't be able to leave the house. Like I couldn't imagine taking a newborn or a baby and a toddler out into the world because so often just bringing Rook out felt too stressful. But to my surprise, getting out has been the best thing for me and not that hard. I tried a couple different ways of doing it. The double stroller hasn't been phenomenal because Rook often doesn't want to be stuck in a stroller, but I find like grocery shopping, I put Rook in the cart and I baby wear Finn. That works great. As long as I'm going to a store with a cart, it's straightforward. But also Rook's getting old enough now that I can often just take him free range into a store depending on the store, and then bring Finn in the stroller. And that's honestly been amazing because I actually find that staying in is way worse than going out. Not completely, like I can't spend every day at home with both kids. I go crazy, Rook goes crazy. It's just no good. So finding ways to get out that are not too chaotic helps me a lot, and helps Rook get his wiggles out, as we say, spend some energy. Baby wearing has been super clutch this time around. A lot of second time, third time, etc. Moms will say that I didn't baby wear much at all with Rook because I didn't need to, and now if I'm out, I usually have Finn in a carrier. Your favorite memory of Finn and Rook together so far? That's very cute. I have a video of Finn in his bouncer and Rook was playing beside him, and Finn had just started smiling like a couple days prior, and Rook was talking to Finn, just like saying hi Finn, and Finn started smiling, and then I acknowledged that, and Rook got really excited about it. It was so sweet. It was like their first real interaction, I guess, as in like Finn was a part of it. Like Finn was smiling, Rook was talking and laughing. Yeah, that was super sweet. I'm so excited for them to have a friendship. Yeah. How do you plan for maternity leave as a self-employed worker? I didn't. I just figured that I would take it as it came, which I'm doing. I don't make a ton of money through this. Like, don't get me wrong, I make money, but Josh is definitely the breadwinner. And so I am taking a pay cut. I haven't been doing much work because I haven't really been able to, and I don't know what my schedule is going to look like in the future. So I'm just kind of pinching my pennies right now, making it work. It's not ideal, but what are you supposed to do? Like, I have my hands full with 2 kids. How can I also work like full time at the same time, you know? So it is what it is. Has Rook been jealous at all? I don't think so. At first we were worried that he was jealous because he was acting out a lot, but it turns out he was getting 2 molars in, so that made him really upset. And now he's pretty chill. I try really hard to not blame the baby, something I learned from Big Little Feelings on Instagram. So like if I'm feeding Finn and Rook wants something, instead of saying, I can't play with you, I'm feeding Finn, I say, give me a minute and I'll come play with you, or I'm really excited to do whatever this thing is with you. You just have to wait a second, just like something like that. Instead of, like I said, blaming it on the baby, just showing excitement for that interaction that you're gonna have with Rook. How are you doing? I am, actually, my sister just asked me the other day. She said that when people ask her how I'm doing, she says that I'm doing my best. That is the most perfect response. I am doing a lot better now than I was the first month. The hormones, the unknown, the adjustment, very difficult for me. Now that I have a bit of a routine down, it's a lot easier. I'm still doing my best. I struggle with feeling lonely. 2 kids feels really limiting, getting out and socializing, especially with people who aren't in the same stage of life as me. I'm a lot more strict with Finn's sleep this time around, I think just because it's a security thing for me. So I like to be home at 7 p.m. to put Finn down, and that means that a lot of time I can't go out to dinners, can't go out to group events that are happening that like start at 6, right? Because that's such a like normal time to start an event, casual or not, and it just doesn't work for me right now. So the loneliness sucks, and I hate feeling like I'm just waiting for Josh to come home every day because he is my social life, which it's not like I feel that every day, but I hate when that happens. I still try and get out and socialize, but it's a lot less, and I have FOMO, like I'm missing out on things, but I also know that it is short term, and it's just like a sacrifice for right now for long-term gain. I am gonna get back to that stage where I can stay out till 10 p.m. with the kids, because that's what I was doing with Rook prior to having Finn. Not like an every night kind of thing, but if we were out, we could stay out later and sacrifice Rook's sleep a little bit, catch up the next day kind of thing, right? But right now, that's just not where I'm at. So yeah, I also am dealing with mom rage, not like towards the kids, but just like the hormone shift is really difficult. I remember having this with Rook too. I just get set off really easily, but I'm also now aware that it is irrational and just my hormones, and so I can like adapt to it, not adapt to it, but just like recognize it and not let it take control, maybe? What am I trying to say? I like remove myself from a situation because I know I'm thinking irrationally. That's what I try and do. So that's been fun. But yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. How are you coping with newborn sleep? A lot better than I thought I would. Again, Finn is sleeping pretty well now, but in the beginning, you know, he was up every 3 hours. And I don't know, something in you just figures it out, I guess, like chasing a toddler around and dealing with the low sleep. Here's the thing, I feel more energized than I was pregnant, so that's why it feels better, is because pregnancy just like drained me. And so in comparison, I feel fantastic. Do Rook and the new baby throw off each other's schedules? No, just because Finn's not on a schedule yet, that's something I'm very scared of, but I'm trying to not think about it. When I actually have to care about Finn's sleep schedule and how that's gonna clash with Rook's, that sounds horrible. Because right now he just sleeps when he sleeps, eats when he eats, no schedule during the day because he takes so many naps. But once we get down to the 2-nap schedule when he's like 7 months old or whenever that is, I know that's gonna be tricky, but deal with that when it comes. What do you enjoy most about your new life with 2? Interesting question. What do I enjoy about life with 2 kids? Not much. Like, it's not like I love being torn in 2 directions. It's not like I love dealing with the difficulties of a newborn while also dealing with the difficulties of a toddler. Yeah, is that being too honest? Like, there's not much that I love about my life with 2 kids right now. Like, I love my 2 kids and I love having 2, but I don't love this stage of 2. I've said this before, I'm looking forward to when they're on the same schedule because then it'll be easier, but it's not like, wow, I love how much busier and more chaotic my life is now that I added another child into the mix. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm very happy with my life choices. It's just a very hard stage of life. Is it difficult to have a newborn and toddler in a small living space? No, I think the difficulties will come as they get bigger. But I was also talking to Josh and some other people about this the other week, how, you know, we have, 900 square feet? And that's kind of the social norm now, at least where I live. Like, I've always been like, small home, small living circumstances, but a lot of people in like millennials, my age group, Gen Zers, we're all living in small apartments, or some of us have townhomes, but for the most part, I think this is just like the social norm, and kids are going to be growing up in smaller homes because of the housing crisis. So I'm trying to view it from that point of view more, rather than like, oh, how am I going to make this work? More of, oh, this is just how it is, and I can't expect the same lifestyle for my kids that I got as a kid because housing was so cheap back then. But yeah, again, right now, a newborn doesn't need much, doesn't take up much space, so it's not that different. Did you experience grief? I hear that can happen when the dynamic changes, like missing Rook, etc. I think I grieved more when I found out I was pregnant. Grieved not being a first-time mom anymore, not getting that one-on-one time with your newborn anymore. Grieved losing more of myself to motherhood. But the actual change from 1 to 2, it's hard. Your mind like blocks out some of the hard memories when you don't think too hard about it. The first month was really difficult. I cried a lot, especially in the middle of the night, feeling like I couldn't handle it. But so far, I feel like I'm still getting a lot of time with Rook. I do get a little sad that I don't get enough time with Finn, because I feel guilty spending time with Finn when Rook's around. Like one instance I tried just like talking to Finn, because I often forget to talk to babies because they can't talk back. So I was talking to Finn and Rook started responding, and that made me feel horrible because I didn't like that he wasn't getting my attention and he thought I was talking to him. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of it is hormones and irrational mom guilt, but yeah, most of my grieving happened in the first month and when I actually found out I was pregnant. How has your relationship with Josh now that you have 2 kids? Has it changed or is it about the same? So it's hard to know because pregnancy was really difficult and I didn't even have that hard of a pregnancy, but like when I was pregnant, Josh would get home from work and I would like check out because I was so exhausted. And now, again, I have a bit more energy, so like Rook will go down to bed, Finn will go down to bed, and we can actually spend some like intentional time together. So I feel like our relationship now is better than it was when I was pregnant, but it's probably worse than it was when I wasn't pregnant, like prior to getting pregnant. But it's all just seasons, right? Like we're in a really busy season of life, but once Finn doesn't need a dream feed anymore at night and we get like 7 p.m. till 11 p.m. just like the 2 of us, that'll be great. And you know, we're still like, we're both aware of the situation and like you just get through it. Do you feel more or less sure that you only have 2? I'm feeling pretty confident in only having 2 kids. At this point, Josh is feeling the same way. And it's not just because I've had a hard time mentally adjusting, but more like situationally. Because this whole time I've been thinking like, well, maybe in like 3 years I'll want to have a 3rd child. But I think we would need to be in a bigger home. I'm sure that I would want to be in a bigger home to make that decision because I feel good about having 3 little kids in this house, but having 3 teenagers, especially if the next one is a girl, having both genders in the same room, I don't feel great about that. So as of right now, I'm pretty sure we're done at 2. Don't quote me on that because anything can change. Also just like financially, like with the economy right now, inflation, housing crisis, like the war that's going on. I just feel like life is so unstable and I'm scared of adding too many kids into the mix when I don't know what our life is going to look like in the future. Like a lot of my original thoughts on motherhood and life in general were again based on my childhood, my upbringing, but we don't live in that same world anymore, so that makes me reevaluate. What does your daily routine look like? Right now, actually the past few days, I've been asking Josh to wake me up with him when he gets up for work because Rook's actually been sleeping until like 7:45, 8 o'clock, which is really nice. And Finn usually needs to feed at 8, depending on what time you woke up in the middle of the night. And so if I get up with Josh at like 7:15, I can get a half hour to drink my coffee, eat some food, kind of warm up to the day. And that's been really awesome for the chaos of the first thing in the morning, because that's usually the worst of the day is when I need to breastfeed Finn and feed Rook breakfast. So I've been doing that. That's great. Then when Rook wakes up, I get him set up with breakfast and I breastfeed Finn. And then I guess I don't have much of a routine after that. It depends day to day. I usually try and get out in the morning, whether that's just going to a nursery or what else do I do? One time I just went out to Shoppers and that was good enough. Just something to get out of the house, break up the morning, come back. We usually watch like an hour of TV or something. I like to put on Little Bear or Franklin for Rook. He loves those. Or we'll listen to music. Then at 11:30, I get Rook lunch, put him down at 12. He'll sleep 2 to 3 hours, usually 2 hours. And during all this time, I'm feeding Finn whenever he needs it, of course. Typically every 2 hours he's eating right now. Then Rook wakes up and I patiently wait for Josh to get home at 4:15. And then we start dinner, and if we have any evening plans, we do that. Otherwise, dinner, bedtime at 7 p.m. for both the boys, and then Josh and I watch TV and then go to bed. That's the routine. Glamorous. Is the newborn phase a breeze second time around? Yeah, but I also felt like it was a breeze the first time around. Newborns, if you weren't losing out on sleep, newborns are so easy. Like, again, it depends on your baby. Like, if you have a colicky baby, that sucks. But typically, babies just eat, sleep, poop. They are relatively predictable. Even if they are a bit cranky, you can usually just like baby wear or hold them, and that solves the problem. And then once they do give you more sleep at night, then it's even better. Like, I find the newborn stage one of my favorite stages, if not like 3 to 6 months. So I really do enjoy the newborn stage. How has potty training been? Have you noticed a regression? It's been phenomenal. So no regression, thankfully. I really was expecting one with the new baby, but right now he really never goes on our toilet. We keep a little potty in his room and he uses that only, mostly because he loves the independence of being able to go there on his own, pull his pants down, sit on it himself. When we're in public, he does not like sitting on public toilets, but Josh taught him to pee standing up, so that's solved that issue. I would really love him to start pooping in the big toilet, but he has an issue with that, so for now, I will continue cleaning out the little potty. And I really don't mind that much because it's reliable, I can do it quickly, and I don't have to deal with 2 sets of diapers, so I'm really, really, really thankful we potty trained him. How is Josh doing? Heart, health, 2 kids? Wow, thank you for asking. I forgot to give you guys updates on that. I talked about it in the podcast. Josh has had myocarditis. He got pneumonia, which put stress on his heart and caused myocarditis. And since then, he's been doing a bunch of checkups every few weeks, every month, that kind of thing. And so far, there's been no reoccurring issues. Everything seems normal. He still has to like take it easy for a couple more months, but as of right now, he seems to be healed. And I am so, so thankful for that. We are both very thankful for that. What do you do to entertain Rook with a newborn in your arms? Great question. I try and do toy rotations every week. Usually it's longer than that because it takes a hot second to actually do the rotation. But so I try and keep like new fun toys, not new, but rotated toys in his room. I use TV, like I said previously. I'll put on a show for like an hour. I try and put on low stimulation shows like Little Bear. It's very calming and like dull colors instead of like loud, bright, annoying, overstimulating. And we read a lot of books together because you can read a book while you're nursing. Yeah, and then we get out of the house. That's my biggest thing. Oh, we'll go play in the backyard, which I'm worried about with the fall, winter coming, what we're gonna do when we can't just go play in the backyard. Which like you can when it's raining and cold, but it's not ideal, you know? So yeah, that's what we've been doing so far. Okay, I think those are all the questions I'm gonna answer today. I hope I answered your question if you asked one. Yeah, again, I don't know what my upload schedule looks like right now, but I am going to be trying to work on the podcast as well, so keep an ear out for that. I will update you guys on Instagram whenever I have something new up. But yeah, thank you for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.